And we've got our guest analyst right here, Adeniyi Ifetayo. He is a media analyst and he joins us right now. Good morning, Adeniyi. Always a pleasure to have you join us.
Yeah, good morning over there. It's
Yes.
night here, middle of the night in
Oh,
Canada. So it's 2 a.m. here or 2:30 a.m.
wow. And you're sounding so sharp. Thank you. You know, we can always count on you. All right, so let's begin with the
Thank you.
front page of the Vanguard, right? I want us to start from an unusual angle today. Now, if you take a look at the front page of the Vanguard, you see our atlas. Toby McGall, especially with her hands on her head. And then the Vanguard has this caption. I don't know if you agree with it. It says, show of shame, 9 billion naira wasted, 88 athletes, no medal. What's your take?
It's just only in this part of the world that when we have competition, maybe a month before the competition, that we start gathering of athletes. We start want to release funds. We've had the cases in the past that the athletes will be complaining in the camp that their allowance are not being paid, they are not motivated, etc., etc. So you can see, I saw a post on I think one of the micro blogs where the Minister of Sports said that when he came on board, about is it 8 months ago or less than a year ago, that he was confronted with 4 competition and he learned that we have not started preparation and all of that. So you can see that all these, they said if you fail to plan, you
Yeah.
have already planned to fail.
Fail, yes.
So you can see that there's nothing much expected from the athletes. Yes, we can have our star girl, or just like you said, Toby Amushon, and it just boils down to preparation, So whether you spend 100 billion, whether you spend 500 billion, and there was no preparation. Of course, we're a country of religion. We believe that God will do everything for us. No, that was why the Bible even says that faith without work is dead.
Absolutely.
So even if you are saying you didn't put work into it, it might be just be left to you. Maybe if others too, they don't prepare. So others too, they didn't come and dance or to come and wash you. They have been preparing. Thank God for one of the senators who just opened, I think last year, opened the first sports university in the whole of Africa. Who his plan had been that, excuse me, sorry, okay, all right. His plan has been that he noticed that anytime we're having Olympics, that's when 4 months, 5 months, that's when we begin to prepare our athletes. But in other climb, these people, they have been together 4 years, 3 years, even 8 years. And that's why you see that they shone brightly when it comes to Olympics. So whether 5 billion, 10 billion, if there was no preparation, just like I said, if you don't prepare, you have already prepared to fail. So that's just it.
Very well
Right.
said.
Thank you for your thoughts on that. But let's move away from the Olympics for a bit to a very rather important headline on the papers this morning. National Assembly, this is the Guardian newspaper, National Assembly pushes back on pay storm as Obi and others flay cost of governance. Now, I don't know if you've seen the report of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, to the House, talking about how they fix their salaries. And Senate has faulted this, saying that, and the House of Representatives have insisted that their monthly salary is 600,000 naira, stating that, the lawmakers who displayed over 900,000 naira alert on TV misled Nigerians. We are not ignorant of the breakdown of the salaries of those at the helm of affairs, even as there have been calls for them to cut down governance, at least to ease the burden on Nigerians, putting that money to some other use. And now this back and forth between the federal government, former President Obasanjo, Peter Obi, and all of that. Let's get your thoughts on this.
If it favors them, or let me so to say, they are very quick to assent or to pass the bill, just like when they want to approve billions of naira for them to have a utility vehicle, or so to say, or Jeep, as we call it. But if it doesn't favor them, so it's very hard. So it's just a shame, and it's just a pity that Leadership is about example. Leadership is about influencing people, and leadership is about you showing the way, and you must go the way. If you are telling me to be patient, if you are telling me to be not to be wasteful, and you are living a flamboyant life, there's no difference. So yes, our former president was right that there's a way they fixed in. It boils down to how they approve anything that affect them. I think I started an example. Okay, I was having a conversation with a friend. In Finland, for example, which that country has been voted the best country in the world for 6 times consecutively as our last year. One of the parameters that were used all over the world, one of the parameters were used was health, education, security, good governance, and what's it called? Good governance and standard of living. But one of the one that I want to pick, it has to do with good governance. Before they make any decision, before they even debate anything on the floor of the house, all the representative, all the MP must take whatever they want to say, take it back to their people. This is what I want to push to the floor of the house. This is what the one I want to push to the assembly to look at, or the parliament to look at. The people will decide, yes, this is good, this is not good, take this one, remove this. They deliberate on it. It is that conclusion, or the communique, or the outcome of that conversation, or as we call it, town hall meeting. That is what they will bring back to the floor of the house to say, this is what the people want. It's not me suggesting that I want to have a fat salary and all of that, but it's very difficult in this climate. Sometimes you just heard that some bill are being assented to, and you're like, when did they debate on this?
Exactly.
At the constituency level and at the senatorial level. So it's very easy for them, but I think until they begin to allow the people to and the stakeholder to have to make an input in any bill before it will be discussed on the floor of the house. If not, they will continue to approve bogus salary and allowance for themselves, while the nation bleeds, crying that there's no money, there's no fund.
Right.
Yeah. I want us to quickly take a look at this headline on the front page of The Guardian. It says, electricity tariff may spike over weak fiscal position and 2.1 trillion naira subsidy. But this is where I want you to focus on, right? The third rider to that story says, power plants may shut down as poor remittances threaten 6,000 megawatts target. Now, 6,000 megawatts target for a nation of over 200 billion people, and then we still can't hit it. What's your take on this?
Government, we've been talking about government intervention, but sometimes what they prioritize, their whatever they are spending or their subsidy on is quite different. At this time and age, where we know that in South Africa, I think they are running about 30,000 megawatts,
Yes.
and we have over 200 million as population. We are still battling with less than 10 or 15,000 megawatts. We are not even planning. I think in South Africa, as at 3 years ago, they were saying by year 2025 they want to hit 50,000 megawatts. Those are the futuristic. But because when we are still we don't plan, our population kept on increasing. We have increase in people coming in and all of that. We are not planning for them. It just showed lack of foresight on the part of our leaders, that they don't plan for the future. The only is every year this problem kept reoccurring, raising their ugly head. Today or last year, the issue of 6,000 megawatts or to hike in tariff, band A or band B, it's only when they want to increase tariff, that's when they flex so much muscle. But the spending of citizens, that is not even encouraging their capacity and all of that, the standard of living. keep on getting to. These are the area that you need to tackle, that you don't even need to bother yourself on it. What do we have? What are the challenges? It's just the same thing when it comes to environmental. We know there will be flood in this part of the nation or in this part of the city, that we know that every year. What can we do to put a stop to it once and for all? I think that's how they should begin to think, or if they cannot think, they should ask AI, as one of my friends said.
Wow, interesting. Talking about electricity tariff, I would like to connect this to the NLC. It was one of the demands, aside the minimum wage, reversing the electricity tariff hike was one of the demands that the NLC put out there. But it's as though there's really been no conversation in that regard. But why I want to connect, just to link this up with the NLC, there was a raid on their headquarters last week, Wednesday. And this morning, we've seen a report and update as to how NLC is demanding an apology from the federal government and police over the raid of its headquarters. And they have come out to say it was an unwarranted invasion. And the NLC president, Joe Ajero, has said that its members would not be at the headquarters, at least for now, because of security threat and all of that. For a country like Nigeria, hearing this kind of stories, this is the Nigeria Labour Congress, and an invasion like that, let's get your perspective.
Yeah. First and foremost, you will agree with me. This is not the first time that kind of a thing will be happening. Though it might not be NLC. We've had a sitting Senate president that was under what's it called? His house or residential was invaded. And we've had so many other people that it has happened to. But because when there are the perpetrator, if you said, well, it's not from us, it was a mistake, somebody needs to pay for it, But if there's so much impunity that somebody can just wake up because you are not aligned with my program, you said you want to lead me, and I'm saying, no, I don't want your leadership, let me be on my own, and you want to fist it or force it on me, and there was no arrest or somebody caused to come and explain what happened, and you just see that the thing will just slide like that. Of course, it will continue, but I think it's high time our government show responsibility. If you make a mistake and sister agency make a mistake, own up to your mistake. And that's why it also boils down that they influence the society, that they led, that something will happen, nobody wants to take the blame, because our leadership, once they make a mistake or something happen, nobody is called to come and explain or answer or face the book. So it's not a good one on their part. This Labour Congress, who, like they say, like the voice for the voiceless, who want betterment of the people, but now you want to shut them down. You want to steal them. Even if Mr. President said he doesn't know anything about it, I think call the head of that agency. What's going on? What happened? And at least somebody went there. Somebody took some things, and those are the things that is begging for question. Who did what? Who sent you there? On the order of who? And don't just tell me order from the above. Who is the person at the above? Those are the questions that, even including you guys, let me say you guys, the journalists, need to ask. This thing happened. Let's go there. Was there a warrant of arrest or to raid an organization or like that? So those are the things that is begging for questions. So we don't just say, let's do our part. When I say let's do our part, I'm talking to you, the media person, that you should ask more questions from our leaders.
Right. Just a follow-up question on that. We do not have a fantastic history when it comes to people being held accountable, or someone taking the fall, or someone being punished for certain actions. Most times when things happen like this in the country, we do not get to find that one person that should take the fall for that act. And it has become one too many cases like that. How can we deal with this situation of there's usually nobody that is held accountable, because they say sometimes when you get somebody as a scapegoat in court, it would serve as a lesson to others. But we don't usually have those scapegoats in cases like this. So how can that be? The media calls them out. You know, we ask questions that do not get answers. So how else should this be nipped in the bud?
Nip in the bud, it still boils down to the people at the ends of affair, the leaders, the body language, and if they are doing the right thing, I'm not sure the people will be asking them questions. So saying nobody take the blame, nobody take the balls, the fall, or face the book. I think one of the things that we can do to foster that in the future, any sister agency, any deployment should be documented. And who signed, who asked you to go there, who asked you to go take this, who asked you to go approve that, who asked you to go take that. Everything should be documented. So, but if there's no document to that fact that they just give order by the word of mouth, it's very easy for somebody to deny it, and it's very easy for someone to also say, I don't know anything about it. And if this one says that it was ordered from above, he doesn't want to mention him, because sometimes some people feel that they might be criticized and they want to cover their boss. And the boss will say, if you cover me also, of course, you get a part on the bar. But it's just a bad thing. And if we want to encourage people to take us seriously, I think we need to be more disciplined in our engagement. And also, of course, the rules of engagement. I think some of these, whether paramilitary or these forces, should be orientated from time to time. Orientation, you don't, like they said, we learn every day. If you think you know it all and you stop there, that's the day you start dying. So I think more of orientation, and of course, discipline needs to be, be in place for those people that are concerned. Somebody must take the fall, please.
Yeah, very, very well said. Talking about somebody having to take the fall, we are going to be taking a look at this headline on the Guardian. Yes, it said, protest, police arrest 99 suspects for murder and vandalism in Borno. Now, today is the very first Monday after the 10th day of the mega protest in Nigeria. It would be remiss of us not to even have a mention of it. So what's your take, though, as regards the effectiveness of the protests, and then this particular headline where police has arrested suspects, 99 of them, for murder and vandalism?
Yeah, it's not just like where we left off just a few minutes ago. It's not just about arrest. Before you know it, you won't know what happened to those people who were arrested. Exactly. The thing will just slide down. Like they said, bail is free. Maybe after a while, the whole thing has slide down. You go and bring this, you go and bring that, etc., and the thing will just go like that. Vandalizing infrastructure, things that are meant for the public, it should be taken seriously. I want to cite an example. Yesterday, I was feeling pressed. I was somewhere and I was looking around where I can ease myself, unlike where I came from. I can just, because and as well, I saw a signboard as well. If you are, taking your dog on a walk, you must hold a polythene bag or nylon that in case it defecated the road or something, you pick it up and all of. So it has been there. It has become the part of this society. I think it's the same thing that should apply to us. You commit an offense, you should face the book, whether regardless of you are in that party or you are in this party. But because sometimes even some of the police, this one I'm a town man, that language in quote, they want to be softened, giving such an individual soft landing, or because it belongs to or is affiliated to a known politician who makes a call and say, let me talk to, I have the DPO's number, please, they are one of my boys, just let them be and all of that. So if tomorrow you think another protest will happen, that person will not commit that crime again. He will, but once he face the wrath of the law, and such people, especially those people, will sit tight. But I'm just imploring, if there must be a prosecution. I think this is high time civil society should rise up and say these people should be prosecuted if truly they are found wanting. So let them face the wrath of law. But where they make arrests, as usual, who knows? After something else will happen, we won't hear the end of that matter again. I think the journalists or the media also need to keep on asking questions. What happened to these people that were arrested? What is their key? What's the level? When is it coming up in court, etc., to do a follow-up?
Right. I like the fact that you use the word "if truly," because one of the things that is very synonymous with us here, and is one of the fears of the youth, is how some people just get caught up in circumstances. What I mean is, some people do not have anything to do with the hoodlums or those that hijacked the protest. We've seen cases where innocent people are bundled alongside those that committed a crime. And as much as they try to prove their innocence, some are still in custody, some we don't get to hear about it again. How then do we differentiate or properly carry out a system where the innocent is not just tagged along? Because it is a case that is very, very common in Nigeria. I can't speak for other crimes. But how do we go away from the phase of, oh, they just bundle up everybody? Once you're in that environment or something just happened, you found yourself there. And even when you're trying to prove your innocence, they don't want to hear anything. You're just taken, locked up, and that's it.
Yes, I'll say that in this kind of situation, I think our what's it called, the NBA, Nigerian Bar Association, they also need to step up. I'm sure how it ought to be, they will tell you if you cannot afford a lawyer, the state will get you one and all of that. I know most of it are rules, but in some particular states I don't want to mention, they are quite trying. They call them Office of Public Defense, if you cannot afford a lawyer and all of that. These are the time that the NBA section of them should rise up. Okay, let's go, something has happened. And of course, it also comes down to technology. I think our street, our road, should be mounted with camera. Now if you can put a street light somewhere, I'm sure there should be a camera there. There's nothing stopping you installing cameras so that
they vandalize these things. We've had cases where they put street lights, put cameras, but hoodlums.
Yeah. I'm just saying for to capture who does what, at least to pick one or two people. Then now you can then look at their cases based on, if someone say that I'm innocent, I'm not innocent, then the lawyer, at least they can do a better justice, listening to the case. And yes, we know in fact somebody has been in prison for 10 years, 20 years. I've had a lawyer who said somebody was is waiting for what they call them for, to be executed by a hangman, for several years, but they look at the case and review it and all of that. So, what I would say, NBA, I'm not a lawyer. They know what to do in this kind of case. If some people have said they are innocent, they are just going, let's give them fair hearing. And the word they say that if you cannot afford a lawyer, we will get you one. I think the state needs to do more on that aspect. They need to do more on that aspect.
Right.
All right. So before we let you go, let's quickly take a look at this headline on the front page of the Punch. It says Dangote petrol. That's the subtitle. And then the major headline says marketers wait as delivery date extended again. But this is where I want us to focus on. Refinery, that's the rider. Refinery needs 15 cargoes for September. Only 6 cargoes have been supplied to the Dangote refinery. Edo State Refinery is also decrying a lack of crude oil supply. What's your take on this, though?
Yeah, you see, it boils down to, like I said, the attitude, that nonchalant attitude from those people who have who are responsible to do some certain thing in some certain quarter. I think you and I think about a week or 2 weeks ago, when the Mr. President gave an express permission for crude oil, to be sold to Dangote refinery, even in naira denomination, so that to avoid all this situation. But it will boils down to show that some people, even when the president told them to move, they have not left where they are, yesterday, that, and it's worrisome that we have this thing in our country. We are not celebrating it. We are not supporting it. We are not giving it everything it needs for it to function. Maybe just because the man has not rubbed my back, or he has not pat my hand with some dollar or naira. So it's just worrisome. I think Mr. President should do something. It also boils down to somebody need to face, the wrath of law, or Mr. President need to wield the stick this time around. I gave an express order for something to be done. Why is this thing delaying? I'm sure if you check, like they said, they have so much capacity to do, but we are like underutilizing Dangote refinery, and yet because of some few individuals who benefited from taking our crude oil abroad, refinery to refine it and bring it back, it's just let's call a spade a spade. I think this kind of attitude must stop if we want to progress as a nation.
Right, very, very true, and a very safe place to land this morning. Adeniyi Ifetayo, thank you so much for joining us on the Monday edition of the Newspaper Review and for sharing your thoughts with us. Yeah. It's been a delight, speaking with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. Hopefully next week we should be seeing face to face.
Okay,
live and direct at the studio.
All right, have a safe trip back.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, that was Adeniyi Ifetayo, a media analyst, giving us his thoughts and opinions on some of the stories making the rounds on the papers this morning.